help, but he asked for it.
He prayed.
I think in our society, we have a lot of, rule following that's imposed on us, and I know I feel like I'm a rule follower, you know, I'm a lawyer, I feel like that's something that I have to be mindful of, right? And I think that, you know, there's a lot of stigma that is on people who are unhoused, and to think that you have to follow all the rules, and you have to pay your bills, and to make these choices of like having to say, well, I'm gonna parse, you know, I'm gonna pay some of it, but not pay all of it, it makes you feel bad, and I felt bad, you know, like, well, maybe I shouldn't get any utilities if I can't pay all of it, you know, or maybe if we can't, you know, we can afford the subsidy, but then I feel like, am I gonna ask at the pantry, cause I have a little bit, you know, so I feel like there's a lot of shame.
We were budgeting our money until we got the first chance card, and then we're like, okay, we can buy the food, we can buy all the miscellaneous, then we got a second good chance card. And in between that, you asked us if we wanted to trade our rent in, but it might have been with someone who was a little suspect, it might have been a danger to the kids, and we were like, no, we're good, we got it. We don't wanna do it, but we kinda still debated it, even because we were still kinda close to falling under, even with 2 good chance cards, it gave us about $800.
I remember that this year. How did you guys feel about our offer?
So we had a similar offer, but
I
it
don't
was,
think we had enough.
it was iffy, and we didn't wanna put the children in danger, right? So we chose the safe space.
But we thought about it for a minute.
We did.
And we're playing a board game.
We were like, wait a minute,
You know, like-
this is enticing, it was $500 to live,
So
as
how
opposed
do
to
that in Korea?
1,700.
And I think to that point too, you said they came out of jail, but then I thought, well, people are looking at us probably because, you know, we can't, you know, they may be judging us, and I said, so why were they in jail? But then you said Megan's Law, and I was like,
Right.
But you still considered it. I'm just gonna put that there. I'm not judging you, right?
But we have to go to work, and we can't leave the kids.
And I know like at first it was like, we like kind of talked about it a lot because I was on like team We Gotta Bury Mom, but like, that's like for me, I'm honestly a little emotional about it, cause like, for me, this isn't real, you know? Like it is, but it's not. Like I get to go home, but there's somebody who is literally like, can I bury my mom? And like, that is just like.
How many of you from the outset, like, we handed this game and you were like, I know where this is gonna go? You can be honest. That you were like, I bet you there's not gonna be enough money, right?
Yeah.
How many of those same people you still emotionally got involved in this play money and this silly board game almost immediately?
I mean, I do this every day, and I'm feeling a pit in my, like, I work in this community, and I am emotional over this game, because it's just so easy to remove yourself a little bit and think about what is my role, and I'm not in this decision-making capacity.
I'll only speak from my own experience. The first time I ever played this as a person playing the game was I thought, no, I can do this. I can do this, right? Certainly I could figure this out, right? With all of my gifts and talents and expertise and, right? That like, that one of the things that makes me laugh all the time is with the best of intentions. We have folks all the time who want to come and teach our families about budgeting. And I think financial literacy is a very important thing. I'm not mocking that. But if you talk to somebody who's living this life every single day, and you want to teach them about how to manage a dollar,
save $300 a month.
I also got bad news for the families that made it. You made it through 1 month.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say the stress of knowing this is going to occur next month. Cause we asked, we're like, this is just for 1 month, right? And then in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, every month to do this is awful.
And what the stress and the mental like bandwidth to spend just to figure out this part and then to try to do everything else must be, it's overwhelming just to think about that and be in that. We were just talking about the miscellaneous doesn't, you know, you talked about our first child, Quan, you know, he's playing baseball, like school's gonna come, he's gonna wanna be in Little League, and then you don't have the money to get him even the cleats, let alone the baseball bat and the glove. Right? Like he can't even play sports with his friends.
And just,
he's gonna have it.
just an odd example, locally, like, we have to volunteer as well. But if you have a job where you gotta work overtime to make ends meet, you then have to pay a fee to replace your volunteer time. So now what am I doing? Am I going to work, or am I gonna volunteer and not make ends meet? I mean, it's a joke, And I still have to buy a helmet, sorry.
Yeah.
I still gotta buy a helmet.
Really working through that.
There.
But it's true, like the child can't even really have a childhood because you're so busy just trying to figure out how to stay above water and you can't.
See how it's sacrificing themselves to make sure they can play. I also noticed that we had to, a lot of times, cut corners on food. And ask you a basic, those are basics.
I think it's very telling, somebody made a good point, right? What you give up first is one of the most telling things, right? Often, what we often see is healthcare. I see healthcare open on a couple of these. Right, we talk about families having access to high quality healthcare and doing all that preventive care, right? We'll judge somebody for not keeping their diabetes under control, or getting that insulin, or, you know, whatever it is. But when you're counting up the pennies, you're paying for that class picture, maybe that's not a choice you're gonna make, right? And so one of the reasons we do this is also to show that as hard as it is to put yourself in that place, and I appreciate that you're all willing to go there with us a little bit here, it can also be a rational choice. And it's something that's hard to understand if you're not living it. But to not pay that preventative health care, it's not that people don't know that preventative health care is an important thing. It's not always a knowledge problem. It's the rational choice there with caring for your child, or with not taking that cheaper apartment because it was shady, right? And so things that might seem like a not productive choice to you. This is why some people choose to live unhoused, right? If you didn't have that expense on your board, right, it opens up other possibilities, right? So it's homelessness and poverty are incredibly complicated, but sometimes things that from the outside at a quick glance seem very non-logical, when you get into it and you see all the competing choices you're forced to make constantly, sometimes what might seem like a not rational choice to me or you, given the place we are in our lives, is actually a rational choice. Anything else surprise you about this, or surprise you about the way that you've reacted to this?
Just one, good.
Yeah, I think I hear all the time, or not all the time, but I've heard it said before, like, it's very expensive to be poor. Like, it costs a lot of money, right, like, to be poor. And I, like, put attaching real numbers to it was helpful, like, to illustrate that point. And I was even doing, like, calculations in my head about, like, relative to, like, is the word like ratio or percentage-wise, like the transportation expenses, right, of this family relative to their income. Like the monthly transportation relative to income was like twice the percent of like what like my car payment relative to my income. Like it was such a huge, ridiculous, disproportionate amount of their like monthly, and I was thinking like it's so expensive to be poor to get a bus fare. And like the dollar like Lucy diapers, I can't let go of that. Like, like it's much more expensive to be poor and buy diapers than it is to like have access to a car that you can afford and a $79 Costco membership and pay, you know, 20 cents a diaper. Like it's cheaper to be comfortable, and it's more expensive to be poor, and I don't know how we figured that out. I don't know how we got there, yeah.
And New Jersey Transit's about to raise the rates by 15%, so disproportionately, the poorest people in the state who need mass transit won't get to their jobs that are helping them stay afloat.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about, just challenge us up for a minute, when last time you saw a New Jersey Transit bus running after dark?
Yeah.
Right, you see them like in the morning, you drive to work, but you know, you're driving home from a dinner at 10 o'clock at night, you don't see a New Jersey Transit bus on the road.
Well, and travel takes a lot longer, right? Time is money too. So you're gonna take the bus, but then you're gonna walk a half a mile, or then you gotta go to the store, which is.
And you're paying for more childcare.
Yeah, I was just gonna add on.
Or leaving them home by themselves, and hope they don't work.
Oh my God.
To your point, I mean, you're adding in also the layering of food deserts, and you're being forced to do your shopping maybe at places like, I don't know, if anyone's ever made the mistake of buying something at a CVS.
Oh,
It's like 5 times the amount of what
That's right.
in the shop, right? And if your local bodega is the only option you have in your neighborhood, and you're being forced to use your dollars. And then also, I know there's lots of discussion this year on like bank fees, and so if you don't have a local community bank in your neighborhood and you're forced to go to the ATM at the local liquor store or whatever, every time you're taking out $20, but it's really gonna be 26 because there's
Or the check cashing.
exactly, check cashing, yeah.
We get challenged sometimes about like, why HOMEFRONT, this homeless services agency, why do you run a food pantry and give out all these diapers and stuff? And this game is why, right? If we can, it serves our goal of trying to end homelessness, to give out diapers. right? If that's $50 I can get back in the equation here, there's a huge myth, and you all now will feel that it's a myth. If you had the extra $50, you would put it on that rent, square. You weren't like, oh, we're going to buy lobster, right? And so if I can help create a little space in that monthly budget, I heard a lot of you, oh, we're gonna go to the food pantry, we're gonna get diapers from HOMEFRONT, well, you're hoping there's a HOMEFRONT in your town, right? And HOMEFRONT only gives you 50 diapers per kid per month. 50 diapers is not gonna get you very far. You know, it's something, that's a, you know, but you're only gonna get enough food for a couple days, maybe a week at the most. And you can only come once a month, because we're trying to spread it around, right? And so when I talk about those upstream prevention, those diversionary things, that is housing work. Because study after study after study will show that when folks have discretionary income, it will go to paying their basic expenses over and over and over again. I'm not saying that everybody doesn't deserve a treat, and don't get me on like a whole thing about people using their food stamps, because yes, you deserve a chocolate bar once in a while too, right? Like, there can be some joy in your life as well, you know? Study after study shows that if folks have a little bit of discretionary income, it's going to these things on the table, right? There was nothing on here that was joyous. There was no tickets to the movies, or that Spotify subscription, or, you know, this was just making it, right? Yeah.
I think what was really surprising for me was that we started in the hole so much deeper than I thought we were going to. So like we were $800 short before we even had any chance cards. And like in my very privileged brain, I was like, oh, we're gonna start even. And then this isn't even, there's no joy here, this is just necessity, but we'll start even on necessity, and then some chance things will happen, and that's when we'll go low. But we were negative from the very beginning.
And how interesting, because I felt, oh, camaraderie, like, we're gonna be okay, like, you can start making some decisions financially a little bit better, because I'm gonna think differently if I'm under stress, yeah.
To your point though too, think about what reality is now. So your wages may have increased by $1 an hour, but your rent has increased by, what was it, $400, $500 a month? Yeah, so I mean, in the real world, it's that gap is even widening.
It's one of the reasons why we haven't updated this game, because if the gap gets too wide, people just won't even try. People won't play the game with us if you don't feel like, maybe I can make it. Like, this is ridiculous, you're making it up, right? People actually don't believe us.
This has to happen then.
Yeah.